All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah, Hakodash, and double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone, who taught us the truth. While Shalom to Yakim, that pushed that push, that pushes word across the four corners of this globe without truth and sincerity by Hashem, Rakah, Hakodash. As we get a quick topic, based upon really, I would say Romans, the 11th chapter, pretty much on how, in every generation, the elect are preserved. You know what I'm saying? From really, I would say, following the norm, so to speak, in every generation, man. All the way up until these last days, to the point to where now we know the truth, to where now we can call upon the Lord and know who He is, and learn and finally know who we are, all the way up into, being delivered, even back then, where they preserved, through every generation, through every reincarnation, the Lord, knows who's His, man, but I just want to get this, I just want to get a couple precepts to back up the point, but this is, starting in 1 Kings, chapter 19, I'm dealing with, Elijah the prophet, pretty much, after he did what he did, by proving, the prophets of Baal and, he pretty much, in the 18th chapter, he did like a bet, between those that serve Baal and, against himself, which serve Yahweh Shem outside, for them to call upon their gods to rain fire, upon the burnt bullock. It's like to rain fire upon the bullock, and him, himself to call upon Yahweh Shem outside to rain fire upon his sacrifice, to see whose God is true, and they were cutting themselves and, trying to call upon Baal and, and nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? And, it came to a point to where, he, his turn to call upon the Lord and the fire came down instantly, man, and word got back to Jezebel, you know what I'm saying, and he threatened, she threatened Elijah the prophet, and he's on the run for his life, so to speak. But this is I'm gonna start at I'll just start at 1. This is the 1 Kings chapter 19. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, O Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him, and said unto him, Arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he did eat and drink, and laid him down again. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai came again the second time, and touched him, and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink, and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights into Horeb, the mount of the Most High. And he came thither into a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah came to him, and he said unto him, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, power of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord Yahweh Shemashah. And behold, the Lord Yahweh Shemashah passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and break in pieces the rocks before the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, but the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord Yahweh Shemashah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord Yahweh Shemashah was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle. That he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering in of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, power of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life and to take it away. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashah said unto him, Go return to thy way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Israel. It's like king over Syria. And Jehu the son of Nimshi shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel Maholah shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy room. And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. And this is the main point. Yet have I left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him. You know what I'm saying? I'm skip to Romans chapter 11. I say then, that the Most High cast away his people, the Most High forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. The Most High have not cast away his people which he foreknew. What ye not what the scriptures say of Elias against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets, and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what said the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main point that, you know what I'm saying, I want to break out. You know, even in these last days, you know, whoever it is, the individuals that Yahweh Shemashah has reserved through his spirit, you know what I'm saying, to you know, the victory is already written, man. You know, the victory is already written, man. You know what I'm saying? Those, you know, that overcame, you know what I'm saying, through the blood of the Lamb against, you know, and won victory against, you know what I'm saying, this man's name, you know, this man's image, against this man's, you know, fucking whole shit, man. You know, and against his mark, man. You know, mainly against his mark, his image, you know, his you know, his whole, you know what I'm saying, this whole system, man. You know what I'm saying, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the elect are going, you know what I'm saying, going to win in the end, man. The game is already rigged, man. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the Lord has rigged it, man. The Lord ordained it, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua ordained it, man. And read again in verse 5. Even so then at this present time also, There's a remnant according to the election of grace, you know, and it's through His grace. It's not by the works. Like, yeah, I'm saying, you know, you know, the Lord tells you, to work out your I'm saying your salvation in fear and trembling, and that faith without works is dead. But nonetheless, it's through His grace. Verse 6, and if by grace, then is it no more of, it's like, and if by grace, then is it no more of works? Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more grace? Otherwise, work is no more work. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we work for the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But, at the end of the day, I'm saying the elect are chosen, man. All you can do is still hope. I'm saying to be of that number, man. Shit, if it's like it don't matter what it is, man. If you're not of the elect, I'm saying if you're not of the elect, I'm saying then you won't be saved, man. That's why all we can do, literally, is hope and pray to Yahweh Shem outside that He have mercy upon us, man. That we be counted worthy. I'm saying that we be counted those numbers. I'm saying that we be counted of that number, man. You know what I'm saying? And be delivered, man. That's the main point I want to get for the lesson. I'm saying that even, I'm saying through all generations, the Lord has preserved His election. I'm saying, yeah, man. I'm saying that's the main points I want to get for the lesson. So until next time I say shalom.